Hello, everyone. This is Carmen Radford welcoming you back to another episode of Calm and Chaos, the space where we discuss motherhood, well being, and just balancing it all. We cover loads of topics, and so I hope you can find some connection here. Okay, here we go. So, here's a little overview of my motherhood journey. I was in Canada working full time at an elementary school, teaching music to kindergarten to year 5, about 15 classes a week, and I loved it. Really busy, but I absolutely loved it. When I got pregnant pretty soon after, about 8 weeks in, maybe even 6 weeks in, I was diagnosed with hyperemesis gravidarum. I hope I'm saying that right. A condition where basically you are so sick all the time, just throwing up day and night. And it was really shocking for me. I had only, you hear about being nauseous and just feeling a bit off, but I was so sick. But luckily, my doctor at the time had just come back from being on maternity leave, and she had the same experience. And so she knew exactly what to do. I did have to take a few weeks off of work because I was literally being sick all the time. And she wrote me a prescription for Decladin, which was a mixture of B vitamins and antihistamines. Made me really sleepy. So because it was my first pregnancy, I did have the option of lying down a lot, and my husband took care of me basically. And by my second trimester, I was able to return to work, which was great. Felt a lot better through that. And then at the same time, we were making a really big life decision on where we wanted to settle before we had our baby. My husband was born in England, and we decided that when my school year was over, I would be 5 months pregnant, and we would move back to England to be closer to his family, and he could be working at the same job that he had, which would allow me to take a little bit of time off of work. So leaving was a massive decision. Of course, it is incredibly hard to leave the hometown that you know, to leave your friends and your family, and prepare yourself and everyone for that. And I had worked really hard to become a teacher, and I had I had my connections there and everything, and I was a piano teacher as well, so leaving those things behind was really tricky. But ultimately, I have dual citizenship, and I guess just sort of the list of check marks for me to come here made more sense at the time. So I went, and I had moved somewhere by myself before, so that didn't scare me quite as much as all the other changes that were happening. But I guess I was just nesting a little bit up until having my son. And then when he was born, I was on cloud 9. The difficult thing, though, was that he did not sleep very well for about 4 to 6 months. He had silent reflux, which being up all night with him, because he would only sleep on my chest, with me sitting up in a chair, and I was just so scared that he would fall. So I would just basically be up all night and then all day, and I just would have such a weird sleep pattern, and that was really hard because sleep deprivation is incredibly hard. And I went to 5 different doctor's appointments saying, hey, I think he has silent reflux. I need help because he's not sleeping. I'm not sleeping. This is my first baby. I don't really know what's going on. It's quite surprising how little you know. And you just can't be prepared because you don't know exactly how your experience is going to go. Eventually, that 5th doctor appointment, the doctor said that they were just not well versed in babies, and so they gave me a referral to a pediatrician who actually was very unkind to me, unfortunately, but did write a prescription for a medicine that did help for a little while, and then you could come off it. And then he had to learn how to sleep all over again. So that was really tough. But besides that, I really was on cloud nine, having my first little baby. And in time, we started going to baby classes, and I started to make some connections and some friends. And I became pregnant with my daughter. And then she was due just a few months after the pandemic was declared. And so she was born in the first lockdown. And so basically, when I had literally just sort of started making friends here, everything shut down. And so along with everyone else in the world, it was just very isolating. Had my daughter, again, was on cloud nine, navigating, having 2 little ones. The tricky thing with that pregnancy is I was even more severely sick in the first trimester, only I could not take medicine that made me sleepy because I had my son to look after. And I felt so unwell. And I remember talking to my aunt about it, and she had the same thing with both her children. So she could empathize with what I was going through. That was really, really hard. Anyway, more recently, a friend of mine who had it with both of her pregnancies for all 9 months, which I can honestly barely imagine, she posted that some research had been done on hyperemesis gravidarum, and it says basically it's in your genes. And I feel like this is very new research, so I won't talk about it too much, but you can do your own research. But it's just a positive thing going forward. It's very encouraging that hopefully there will be more help for this. So then I'll just fast forward through after things started to normalize after COVID. We were able to move to a more of a community-oriented place. We're really, really settled. Started making friends and connections, and school started, and I am feeling way more settled. But it is hard moving across the world just when you're about to have your first baby. But in my mind, I thought I'm just going to do my hardest work to make this our home. It's my baby's home. It can become mine. And yeah, I hope that's a little bit encouraging for anyone else who's moving to a new town and having babies and walking into this new stage of life. And just to stay positive and to form that community, that support network. The friends I've made here have been so incredible and supportive for me and my children. I'm really, really grateful for those. So that's about it. That's just a quick introduction, and I'm really excited for our first guest. In the meantime, if you have any questions about the topics I covered here today, or if you have a story about your motherhood journey that you'd like to share, just email me at calmandchaospodcast@gmail.com. And remember, all emails are kept anonymous, so please keep your stories as anonymous as possible too, leaving out names, ages, locations, and any other personal details. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at calmandchaospodcast for resources mentioned in each episode coming up. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.